Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott, and hold on tight, buckle up, boys and girls. This is going to be a good one as I go over the top 25 albums of 2024. So far, it's been a great year, but no album has achieved the perfect score yet in 2024. And the album that I've got ranked at number one, I guarantee you will not be number one at the end of the year because your boy just heard an album that drops in August. Oh, we'll talk about that in August. But anyway, couple honorable mentions. There's just been so many great albums, and it's hard for me to keep up with all of them because I just keep getting more and more stuff sent to my inbox every single week. But anyway, here's some honorable mentions. These are albums that I really liked and either didn't get to spend enough time with, or I just picked up, or, you know, whatever reason they're not on the list. Vaima from Finland, Kairos, just put out a great new album. Over Forward from Minnesota. Great instrumental prog. Tom Pennequin, French Canterbury guy. The Aristocrats, just crazy stuff. Duck. Plantoid. Oh, they just put out a great debut album. How about Hasse Froberg, Musical Companion? Magic Brother and Mystic Sister. Flame Dream comes back from the dead. Azure puts out their third album. I really like it. Inner Prospect puts out a real good jazzy record. Italian band Phaedra, a band out of Ohio, from Akron, Ohio, Perfect. I'd never heard of them before. Real cool. The Decemberists put out a great new album. Ruse de Riata, which is Louis Nasser's band. Very good. Agusa put out a soundtrack that I like. I haven't heard the new Airbag, so they're not going to make the list. And Isildur's Bane. They put out an album that I've spent a little bit of time with, but I need to spend a little bit more. But these are the 25 albums that rang my bell in the past 6 months. Albums that came out in the calendar year 2024. So Regna's not in here. Myth of Logic's not in here. Who else dropped an album at the end of the year that didn't quite make the cut? I can't remember. There's somebody else I'm thinking of. Monarch Trail, that's right. Anyway, at number 25, an album that I put on my list right at the last minute. It's Celeste's new album, Iki di Futura Pasado. Of course, this is Ciro Peroni's band. Celeste is probably best known for their 1976 masterpiece, Principe di un Giorno. Just fantastic. This is the fourth album Ciro's dropped in the 21st century, so Celeste is not dead. Maybe they don't use quite as much Mellotron as they used to, but it's a dynamite album at number 24. Here's a band I'd never listened to before in my life out of the Netherlands called Mandrake. And their album, Bridge to Fiction. This is their fourth album. It's their first album in 15 years. They dropped an album in 2009 and then went silent. It's a three-piece band led by Roland Vanderhorst. And some people compare their music to Genesis. I don't know about that, but I really enjoy it. There's a 24-minute epic that ends this thing called The Call to Arms. Very classy, sophisticated prog. I really enjoy it at number 23. We're going to Poland and the Broken Bridges. Here's a band that's not even on Prog Archives, but they absolutely deserve to be there. Their second album is the one that we're talking about here. It's Close to the Truth. This is Marek Habran's band. He's the singer and the guitar player. Just a dynamite group. He gave me the CD, and that thing did not leave my car for 2 months, man. It was just on there nonstop. I love it. Lots of love to Broken Bridges. Great band. Hopefully big things are in your future at number 22. Let's go to Italy and the Baroque Project. Their seventh album, Time Voyager. This is, of course, Luca Zabrini's band, and this is their seventh album, but their third with their new singer, what's his name, Alex Mari. I didn't write it down. Alex sounds exactly like Bo West from Evershit, by the way. This is kind of his third album, although Detachment used like 3 different singers, including the great Peter Jones. So I guess Seven Seas was the first actual album with the new singer, Alex Mari. Fantastic, melodic, classically inspired stuff that owes a huge debt to Neal Morse, I think. At number 21, it's The Age of Distraction, man, and their debut album, A Game of Whispers. John Cook. He was in this Winter Machine, so he left to do his own thing. Of course, he brought the great Charlie Bramholt on board, Mark Gatlin from Hats Off Gentlemen, It's Adequate, and Dom Benison, who is also a former member of this Winter Machine. So if this Winter Machine were just a little bit heavier with a whole bunch of guitar pyrotechnics, maybe they'd sound a little bit like this. But Charlie Bramholt's vocals kill me every time. I love Charlie. It's awesome. At number 20, it's the Neal Morse. Second part of his Joseph thing. This is Joseph Part 2, The Restoration. It is a better album than Joseph Part 1, The Dreamer. I like it. The songs are a little bit better, but I sure do wish that the Neal Morse band would get back together and do something, because, this stuff is great. I like it, but, give me Innocence and Danger any day of the week. At number 19, a fantastic debut album out of Norway by a band called Sykofant. This band is awesome. They're a 4-piece band. Two of the guys were like kind of in death metal type bands, but you can't really tell. This band is very indebted to the 70s, classic rock in particular. You hear a lot of like 70s Rush and Led Zeppelin in their sound, but they're Prague. Forget about it. It's awesome. I love them. Number 18. Let's talk about Anthony Kalugian and Karfagen. I'm going with Messages from Afar's Second Nature. His first album that dropped this year. He's got another one already called Land of Chameleons. The guy never stops. Uber prolific. I'm not sure which album I like better, but I've spent more time with Messages from Afar, so I'm going with it. But Land of Chameleons sounds real good too, man. So I don't know. At the end of the year, we're just going to have to see. A lot of this stuff's going to change by the end of the year, I bet. At number 17, I'm going with The Smile and A Wall of Eyes. Yeah, we know this band. Yeah, it's that Radiohead spin-off band. You got Tom York and Johnny Greenwood, joined by Tom Skinner from the Sons of Kemet. Just a dynamite album, their second album. Their debut album came out in 2022, A Light for Attracting Attention, and they're both amazing. I like these two records better than the last few Radiohead albums, absolutely. Number 16. Talk about bands coming back from the dead. How about Sleepytime Gorilla Museum dropping their fourth album of The Last Human Being? This is a band that was formed in Oakland in 1999. They're Rio, they're industrial, they kind of are metal, but they got a lot of classical influences thrown in there. It's just a crazy mess, a crazy stew. Their first three albums are absolute classics. 2001's Grand Openings and Closings. 2004 of Natural History, and then 2007 in Glorious Times, and then they broke up in 2011. We didn't think we'd ever see them again, but this album's great, man. Two of my favorite songs of 2024 are on this album. There's a song called El Tor, El Evil. Oh, man. So good. And then later on the album, there's a song called Old Gray Heron. I keep listening to those two tracks over and over. Just amazing. At number 15, it's the Bardic Depths and What We Really Like in Stories. Oh, man. Dave Bandana. He's been a guest on the Sunday live stream. Such a great talent. What a cool band. He's joined by Peter Jones on here, Gareth Cole, and Tim Gert, who worked with Steve Walsh in Streets. Brad Berzer is the guy that comes up with all the ideas and the lyrics, but it's Davey Bandana who just brings it all together, chilling out there in the Canary Islands, playing guitar for the tourists. We love you, Dave. You're the best. At number 14, let's talk about a Rio album. Rock and Opposition's not my favorite, but man, there's an album that came out this year by a band called Present, and the album is called This Is Not the End. Wow, what a great album. I knew this band from their previous album, 2009's Barbaro. I really, really liked it, but this one's even better. Apparently, the leader of the band, Roger Chergu, who was on the first two Universe Zero albums, apparently he died in 2021, like halfway through the recording of this. So his teammate Pierre Chevalier kind of picked up the torch and ran with it. And of course, the great Udi Qumran doing all the sound and production, and it just is a great sounding album. It's a weird album. It's kind of like when you go to IKEA and you buy some big old piece of furniture and you put all the parts out on the floor and it's like, none of this makes any sense at all. But after a while, you get the instructions and you organize them in your mind or organize the pieces on the floor. It all starts coming together. 3 songs on this bad boy and they're just awesome. I love it at number 13. Let's go to New York. And the band and their 10th album, Collapse the Wave. Possibly their best album. I really, really like their last one, Don't Panic. What's missing on this one is an epic. There's no epic on here. There's no 42 on here, but it's a great, great album. We're down to 1 female singer now. I don't know what happened to Anne-Marie Burns, but the band is, of course, Laura Mead on vocals. You got John and Tom Galgano, both sing and play. I think one plays bass. I think the other plays keyboards. I don't know. Paul Bremner is the guitar player. And you got 2 drummers in Is, man. You got Brian Corleone and Greg Machili. Sorry, Greg, I don't know how to say your name, but Is Collapse the Wave. Fantastic. If you like Rickenbacker bass and boy-girl vocals, you could do a whole lot worse than Is. At number 12, we're going back to Poland with Amarok and their 7th album, Hope. What a great, great album, man. I love this thing. The guy sent me the CD. I was really happy about it. It's Michael and Marta Wojtas, Cornel Poplawski, and Konrad Zielinski. Oh, man, those 4 individuals put together a real show here with this record. This is the 3rd part of a trilogy that started with 2017's Hunt, continued with 2021's Hope, and this is the best of the 3, Amarok Hope. So good at number 11. Oh, yeah, number 11, the best debut album so far this year, and it belongs to Emerald City Council and their debut album, Motion Carries. This is a cat named Brent Bristow, who is a professor of music at the University of Arkansas in Beebe, and he is joined by, well, the name of the band is Emerald City Council, so there's something tricky going on there. How about Jake Livgren's the lead singer? Yeah, his uncle's Kerry Livgren from Kansas, and then you've got Noah Hungate, his dad was in Toto, so you got Kansas and Toto. It's Emerald City Council. They're joined by Jeremy Nichols on bass, Seth Hankerson on guitar. You got some cool guests on here too, man. You got Jeffrey Coombs. Oh, yeah. Jeffrey Coombs. I love that guy, man. Reanimator. What a great movie. Steve Rankin from the Star Trek stuff. And Paul Balatovitz. Oh, I wish he was on the whole album, but Paul Balatovitz shows up and rips a killer solo. Just an amazing, amazing guitar player. Here we go. It's time for the top 10, boys and girls. And at number 10, it's Return to the Earth and their new album, Stalagmite Steeple. The band's 5th album, but really only their 2nd one where anybody really cared. Their first 3 albums were completely obscure. Nobody listened to them. But with 2022's Fall of the Watcher, all of a sudden everybody's paying attention to this band, and rightly so. These songs are great. It's Robin Peachy. What a fantastic singer. He plays guitar. His brother Steve shows up. He's the keyboard player. And then you got Paul Johnston, who plays drums and does everything else. But it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful album. Amazing songwriting. It's not capital P Prog, but get over it, man. At number 9, I'm going with Drifting Sun and their new album, Veil. This would be their 8th album, and it seems like every time Drifting Sun's putting out a new album, Pat Sanders has a new lineup. Well, luckily, he kept Jargon from 2021's Forsaken Innocence. Jargon, of course, is the lead singer for Verbal Delirium, and he has become one of my all-time favorite singers. I absolutely adore his voice. Yeah, talk about a good rhythm section on this album, man. You got Fudge Smith from Pendragon and John Jowett from everything. He's played with everybody. And a guy named Ralph Cardell on guitar. Just dynamite. What an amazing album. I love it. I love Drifting Sun. Pat Saunders is great. At number 8, it's the Samurai of Prague and their 18th album, A Quiet Town. This is the 2nd Samurai of Prague album that features Marco Greco. He does all the songwriting on here, wrote all the lyrics. A whole bunch of singers on here, like usual with the Samurai of Prague. But you got some of the traditional ones that I always love hearing. On these records, Ron Alonso, Ivan Santovito, Michael True, Andy Nixon, Marco Vincini, and you get the great Ben Craven too. Forget about it, man. Samurai of Prague and Ben Craven. Hey, dreams do come true, man. At number 7, let's go back to Italy and Semiramis. This is a band that dropped their debut album in 1973 and then disappeared off the face of the earth. Well, here we go 51 years later with their second album, La Fina Non Esista, and it's a killer, man. It is great. Yeah, there's only one member left from the 70s, and that's the drummer Paolo Faenza. But don't shed a tear, man. This band is great. You've got the brothers Giovanni and Emmanuel Barco on vocals and guitar. You got a guy that just plays acoustic guitar on this album called Marco Palmo. The bass player is Ivo Mileto, and the keyboard player is Daniel Sorrenti, both of whom have been playing with the band in like some reunion type of gigs and stuff for the past 5-10 years, whatever. But they finally decided to do a second album, and it's amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. At number 6, oh, it's Steve Hackett's latest, man. It's the Circus and the Nightwhale. It's like something like his 38th album, depending on how you count them. But this one's a keeper, man. There's been some complaints about Steve Hackett's recent output. Maybe some of it's a little samey sounding, but this one here's got a little something special. It's a concept album, his first one since his first album way back in the day. Maybe that's why it's a little bit more palatable to me, but I absolutely love this album. I think it's dynamite. Steve Hackett's still doing it, man. It's just great to have him around. At number 5, it's The Tangent and To Follow Polaris. Something like the band's 13th album, only this time it's all Andy Tillison playing everything. He plays every instrument. He sings all the songs. He wrote all the songs. He produced it. He even did the album cover artwork, man. And this album's got one of the best epics you'll ever hear on it. It's called The Anachronism. Check it out. If you're like me and you like long songs, man, The Tangent does it better than anybody. And The Anachronism is one of the best things Andy Tillison's ever written. At number 4, another Italian band that sings in English. We talked about the Baroque Project earlier. Well, how about Ellesmere and their new album, Stranger Skies? This is their 4th album. The second to have the great Rodney Matthews do the artwork for. He did 2020's Weird, which was one of my favorite albums of 2020. And now we got this one here, a little different lineup. We have a full-time singer now. You've got John Wilkinson from Samurai of Prague. He's not on the new Samurai of Prague because he's busy with Ellesmere. Then, of course, the leader is Robert Vitelli. Giacomo Anselmi plays guitar, and the one and only Matthias Olsson on drums. So it's a quality affair. And you've got guest musicians like John Hackett, Thomas Bodine, Clive Nolan, David Jackson, and Graham Taylor. That's a good lineup right there, man, and a great album. At number 3, how about the new Kaipa album? Their 15th album, Sommargryningsljus. Oh, it's a good one too, man. Tells the story of evenings, I guess. It starts with the, like dusk, and it ends with dawn. So I guess this is their nocturnal album. It's a long album. You've got 8 songs. The first song and the last song are short, and then the 6 in the middle are all like between 10 and 15 minutes long. Just incredible. I absolutely love Kaipa. They are dynamite. You know it. I know it. At number 2, we're going back to Italy, man. And this one maybe isn't quite a 2024 release. It's Orme and Il Leone e la Bandiera. Yeah, this album did technically come out in 2023 as part of a box set called Orme and Friends. There's like 3 discs. The first disc was this album. The second disc was songs by former members of Orme. And then the third disc was just songs by other Italian artists. I didn't really understand it, but they finally decided to do a standalone for this album, and rightly so, because it's amazing, man. So you've got Miki Di Rossi, the original drummer, joined by Michael Bond, who's been in the band forever. Aligi Pasqualetto, second keyboard player. But what makes this album so special, besides the fact that the music is absolutely amazing, is the singing of their brand new singer, Luca Sparagna. Oh man, this guy's awesome, bro. It's almost like Aldo Tagliapietro. Who's that? Hey, I don't even care anymore. I've been missing Aldo for years. I don't miss him anymore. Luca's awesome. Leone, please don't break up. Please, I know you were doing your final tour or whatever. You could do more albums like this. Absolutely, it's awesome. I love it at number 1. You've probably figured it out what it is. And like I said, this will not be number 1 at the end of the year. I'm guaranteeing it, but it's number 1 at the midway point, and I'm going with Big Train and the likes of us. What an amazing accomplishment, man. You lose David Longden, and it's like, the guys probably were thinking about hanging it up, and I'm so glad they didn't. They found the absolute right guy to replace David Longden, a dude by the name of Alberto Brevin, who was in PFM. He's not as good a singer as David Longden, but he brings a lot to the table. Not just his singing, but his musicianship, his production ear. The guy's fantastic. I really, really enjoy it. It's also the first album for Oscar Holdorf. And he has been a really, really big part of what Big Train's been doing here. Unfortunately, this appears like it's going to be the last album for Dave Foster. He's left the band in the interim, but man, the songs on here are so good. Beneath the Masts is my theme song. I love that thing. Miramar is absolutely incredible. The Last 11, such a great album. Hey, this album even hit the British charts. It charted at number 63 in the UK, and I believe it's the only album I talked about today that actually charted. And there you go, boys and girls. That's the top 25 prog rock albums of 2024 so far. Let me know in the comments below what your favorites are. What did I miss? What did I forget? What haven't I heard yet? Yeah, straighten me out anyway, boys and girls. Don't forget, this Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern, we are doing the top 10 King Crimson songs. So join me and an all-star cast as we break down the best songs from the mighty King Crimson. Anyway, that's Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Anyway, guys, I love you. Peace in the Middle East. Free the Ukraine. God save the king. Save King Chucky. Charles III needs your saving. Yes, he does. Send that boy to America. That son of a gun could use some saving, and we're going to save him up real good. We'll lay some hands on that boy. Oh, yeah, we will. And then we'll do some prayers and spells and incantations, and you know what's going to happen next? Bring them rattlesnakes to me. Oh, yeah, we're dancing with them snakes. Oh, they're not going to bite us because we got the faith. Yes, we do. And King Chucky will be just fine. I love you guys. Peace.